is N60Sean, and it is a Wrestlemania match preview here. We have got the N60 Champion and the N60 Tag Team Champions teaming up against the #1 contender for the N60 Champion, the Royal Rumble winner, DanTDM, and our #1 contenders for the Tag Team titles, myself, N60Sean, who, as part of a team with DanTDM and Markiplier, successfully defeated the Five Nights at Freddy's crew. With, you know, there were tag team title implications in that match, with whichever team was successful at destroying the Five Nights at Freddy's crew would get a tag team title shot. DanTDM's already in the main event of Wrestlemania, so we've opted for Markiplier, who is the third man in that tag team. Me and Mark will be teaming up against PopularMMOs and Ssundee for the tag team championships at Wrestlemania. A lot of questions to be answered. Can me and Mark gel as a team? Will we have the chemistry that myself and DanTDM have managed to build up in our tag team matches together? But here he comes, the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, Markiplier, who is in line for what I think might be his first title match in our series, the tag team titles. What is also very interesting in this match is who he is up against, because not only is Mark, myself and DanTDM up against the tag team champions of PopularMMOs and Ssundee, but Mark's buddy Jack is going to be in the opposite corner, possibly for the first ever time that Mark and Jack have ever faced off. What is going to happen there? Who knows? But here comes Pat and Ssundee, the tag team champions, our first ever tag team champs. Also looming over our N60 champ, JackSepticEye, and our #1 contender, DanTDM, is the threat of Vanos. Vanos, who won the Money in the Bank briefcase off of Will Power, suckered Will in, lured him into a trap by beating on Chris Danger and essentially saying, look, Will, if you do not face me for this Money in the Bank briefcase, then bad things are going to happen to your buddy Chris. Will Power accepted because he's a good egg and lost the Money in the Bank briefcase to Vanos. Vanos has cashed in and won against JackSepticEye before at the big event as well. Will he do it a second time? Will it be at DanTDM's expense? Will he cash in at all? All of those answers to be supplied at Wrestlemania as referee Billy Bob Webster rings the bell, and this 6-man tag team match is underway. Pat out-muscling DanTDM, and with a little, not a clean break there, just giving Dan a little warning shot. I mean, N60Sean, myself, not entirely happy with that as DanTDM comes flying out the corner. These two bitter rivals, one of the biggest matches on this channel was DanTDM versus PopularMMOs in Season 2. These guys have faced off in every season so far in one way or another, and PopularMMOs getting the better of DanTDM on that exchange. And again, Pat, the suplex machine, dropping DanTDM on his head and tags in his partner Ssundee. Ssundee, he's a law unto himself, is this dude. Sometimes he can be one of the most dangerous competitors in our YouTuber series. Sometimes he's a bit of a liability. He's an excellent combination of strength and speed, as we're seeing here, as he nips to the top rope and just drops his entire body onto DanTDM. And now quick cover here, and N60Sean breaking up. See the chemistry between N60Sean and DanTDM showing there as a team, as JackSepticEye giving me a little quiet round the ear. Interesting to note that Markiplier doesn't seem too keen on mixing it up with Jack and vice versa. How will that play out is this match carries on. Ssundee now with the advantage here. You might have thought that little interference from the other team might have brought down some time, and it has, as Dan manages to reverse Ssundee and catch him with the right hand. Big belly-to-belly suplex, dropping Ssundee right in the corner, and DanTDM, knowing that he's in a dangerous part of the ring, with the right hand to Pat and knocking JackSepticEye off the turnbuckle. JackSepticEye, and here's a roll-up here. DanTDM's got Ssundee hooked up. And now Ssundee just managing to kick out, and now the jackknife cover on DanTDM. PopularMMOs trying to protect the pinfall, but Dan muscling out. Great strength from Dan. Can he just pull this into a backslide? And he does so. Now Ssundee hooked up, and Ssundee kicks out at one quite early on in the match for those sort of pinfall attempts. And JackSepticEye coming from behind and knocking Dan down with a bulldog. And now a double team as Billy Bob Webster trying to gain control of this matchup. And JackSepticEye just managing to sneak in a little double team. Ssundee now sizing up DanTDM. He's got him hoisted up. Signature maneuver there by Ssundee, dropping Dan on his head. That's 1, 2, with Dan just managing to kick out Mark and N60Sean nowhere near saving that pinfall, so it was lucky that DanTDM was able to kick out. As Ssundee now whips Dan into the corner, hoisting him up. Could be looking for a superplex here. DanTDM in a bad spot. Markiplier not really doing anything to stop it. DanTDM planted with the superplex, and he needs to be looking to make a tag instantly. And N60Sean just coming in, knocking out the legs of Ssundee. And look, again, trying to buy Dan as much time as possible to try and get to the other side of the ring and make that tag. Nice teamwork there. And Dan makes the tag to Mark. Markiplier, first time in this match now, facing off against Ssundee. Markiplier, very strong technical wrestler, as we saw here, hooking that arm behind Ssundee with a hammerlock and dropping him with a backdrop, injuring that arm of Ssundee. Kicked in the midsection from Mark, and again that injured arm being put in a sort of precarious spot of Ssundee, right between his legs. Nice pump handle, stomach buster, and follows it up with a springboard moonsault from Mark. No stranger to athleticism himself. Mark now working the back, that sort of midsection of Ssundee, front and back, taking a pounding from the knees of Mark, who could be sizing him up for a signature move here. Maybe looking for the acid rainmaker, and he does so. He hits it, cleaning Ssundee out. Nice stuff from Markiplier, who could be looking for the phenomenal forearm. His finishing move, if he hits this, this could be it for Ssundee. Springs ball, but just catches it in the back of the head. Mark usually likes to plant that forearm right in the jaw of his opponent, but catches Ssundee right in the back of the head, probably the harder part of the skull. Could that be it? That's 1, 2, and Pat tried to make the save. It's dropped by DanTDM, but it's okay because Ssundee managed to kick out at 2. Not many people kicking out a phenomenal forearm from Markiplier, but didn't catch it plumb, and just N60Sean throwing himself out of the ring and catching JackSepticEye. Belly-to-belly suplex from Ssundee in all of the chaos. Now could be looking to make a tag, and now here comes the N60 Champion. Mark makes the quick tag to Dan, again probably not wanting to face off against his buddy Jack. And now we have a preview of our main event at Wrestlemania. This will be for the N60 Championship. Our Royal Rumble winner, DanTDM, facing off. Could this be it? Could Dan get a huge pinfall victory over the N60 Champion? But PopularMMOs rolls in and breaks that up. What an upset that would be if Dan could have put away the N60 Championship, the N60 Champion, that quickly. We've seen Jack do that before to Keemstar in an open challenge match. His Pat just cleans out both Mark and N60Sean from ringside. And once again, this match has descended into absolute chaos. Dan's in trouble because he's got both Ssundee and Jack in the ring, as N60Sean gets thrown ribs first into the turnbuckles. Dan now went for the splash in the corner, but Ssundee manages to avoid it. In comes JackSepticEye again. Jack now with a huge Septiceye punch to DanTDM, and a second shot. Two Septiceye punches to DanTDM. Could be looking for a third, and this could be all you wait for the #1 contender. But Dan catches Jack with the jawbreaker, and now nails Jack with the diamond cutter. But now Ssundee just managing to split that up before Dan managed to make the pinfall. Dan climbing up to the top rope. What could he be looking for here? Is PopularMMOs throws Dan from the top of the turnbuckles. And this does not look like good news for Dan. PopularMMOs sensing that Jack could have been in trouble after being hit with that diamond cutter, dropping Dan onto his knee. And now both our WrestleMania main event, both members are down here, and Jack now tags in PopularMMOs, and PopularMMOs now picking up Dan, hoisting Dan up. Could be looking for the F5 here. If he hits this could be it for PopularMMOs, and bam, hits him down. And I'll tell you what, if you can make the pinfall here, but there's bodies everywhere. There's competitors all over the ring, and the referee has somehow been knocked down in the chaos. That is a bad break for PopularMMOs. I don't know if that was a miscommunication from Jack, and Pat just looks annoyed about that, because we know Pat's a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to these tag team matches. Hurls Dan into the corner and now tags in his buddy Ssundee. Bad break for PopularMMOs. That could have been the break that they needed to have put this one away. Double team move on DanTDM. Double backdrop. Ssundee looking now, going for the ride. Body splash from the top rope. And now looking for a second The diving elbow from Ssundee. That could be it for DanTDM. What? They're just sizing him up. He's going to hit the DDT. Another one of his signature maneuvers. Right hand to Dan. Oh, and instead decides to hook him up into the small package. That could be 1, 2, and it just kicks out after 2. And Markiplier coming in and just cleaning out Ssundee. What is going to happen here? Who's going to gain the advantage going into Wrestlemania? Mark throws himself into the top rope, and Dan manages to hit a desperation DDT on Ssundee. Dan now with the tag to N60Sean. And now Dan just going straight after Jack. Big right hand to JackSepticEye, and Dan got overexcited. And now Ssundee and N60Sean. Sundee's just hit the DDT inside rope. There's chaos everywhere. Dan and Jack rolling on the outside. N60 Championship in both of their minds, hoping to gain the advantage over the other as they go into WrestleMania. Brutal exchanges happening on the outside as I just get dropped with a superplex from Ssundee. Ssundee and N60Sean, Markiplier and PopularMMOs face up for the tag titles. What is Jack thinking here? As Dan gets sent straight through the barricades, and both of these guys look completely wiped out. Ssundee went for his elbow, but missed it. Glorious N60 kick. Who is going to get this advantage going in to WrestleMania? Ssundee thrown into the turnbuckle. Can N60Sean and Markiplier work as a team? Will they be a functioning unit during WrestleMania? Hurricane Rana into a powerbomb, suggesting, maybe that suggests that they are going to be a team and are going to work well. Ssundee's in a lot of trouble here, and Markiplier is signalling for the end. This could be the phenomenal forearm. If he hits this, this could be game over. Bam! Hits it plumb straight on the nose of Ssundee. Mark hooks the leg. That's 1, 2, and that is 3. And what an advantage Markiplier and N60Sean could have going into WrestleMania. DanTDM and JackSepticEye just completely cancelling each other out. What is going to happen during their title match at WrestleMania? In the next video, we're going to be telling you how you can enter for the Heroes Championship. I'll give you a hint. Quite a few of you should be with a chance of winning the Heroes Championship. It's a little clue of what the match might be. All of the info of how you are going to be able to enter will be in the next video. Well, the next YouTuber wrestling video. Promise. Thank you so much for watching. The upload schedule is a bit of a hot mess recently. Technical problems, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Thank you so much for watching. N60Sean. See you later. Bye.